father for the day. Thank you for an opportunity to have a fabulous conversation with one of your amazing children, Cathy Holt. Audience, welcome. You know how much I appreciate you. And if you don't, I'm going to remind you right now, you are appreciated. And your feedback, the referrals for stories that you have sent, everything about what we do here at Conversations with Carroll and One of 11 Productions is to remind each of you and others, you're an incredible child of God and your story matters and you matter. And what you have experienced and learned from makes a difference to other people. And, I believe we are all here and we have the exact same purpose, and it's to help one another. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing the stories, and sit back, relax, turn everything off, because we are here today with a very special guest, Cathy Holt. Cathy has spent her life fighting for women's rights. I'm covered in chills. That happens. Oh, I'm sitting right here. Actually, I have her book, one of her books, Unstoppable Women, right here in front of me. And I don't know, only a third of the way through, and it's incredible. And it's, you all need to get that. As you know, at the end of this, you'll have all the links to be able to get in touch with Cathy. We met in an incredible women's networking group, 262. Thank you, Deb Drummond. And we were in Vancouver together, where I happened to witness Cathy receiving this incredible solidarity award. And no one is more deserving. I don't love the word deserving, different conversation for a different time. However, it was such a privilege to be there when Cathy was presented with this beautiful award. And I'm going to let you, Cathy, please introduce yourself properly. You've done so much, and you're doing so much now, and you have so many wonderful plans. Would you please share with the audience who you are and why you do what you do?
Sure, Carol, thank you so much for having me. I really cherish the time we got to spend together in Vancouver, because it wasn't that long ago. I mean, you've been off on other adventures since then, but for me, it was just about a month ago, I think. But anyway, I'm Cathy Holt, and I work with women to empower them to fully step into their leadership by transforming their strengths, their clarity, their capacities, and their vision into strategic tools so that they can lead with impact, influence, and sustainable success. And as you said, Carol, I was doing some reflection just today, actually, and I have spent more than half my life doing this work. And that was kind of sobering, but also very energizing for me, because I love what I do. And I grew up in the late 60s, early 70s. So don't do the math, please. But, we women did not have choices that we have right now. And I was very frustrated because I saw my male friends being offered all kinds of opportunities that were not even mentioned to young women at that time. And if you did bring it up, it was kind of like, oh, honey, don't think about that. You need to do things like teach or be that back then it was called a secretary or a teacher. And those are great professions, but they were the only things offered. So it started pretty early in my life that I was very frustrated about that lack of access to opportunities. And that's really kind of got me started on, I used to say to my mom, it's just not fair. And of course, as a mom, most moms will say, well, who's promised you it would be? And I would respond every time I was kind of that child that challenged, but it should be. And I really do believe that. And I really do think that was one of the motivating factors for me to pursue different career paths. I mean, I've had a lot of varied career paths, but they've always centered on women, women's rights, women's capacity, and scaling up their presence in the world, and to have them at decision-making tables, and have them really participate in life, because we do it. We are all, women have everything it takes to be great leaders, but
Oh,
we've been told so often no. And now it's time to say yes.
it is time to say yes. And I want to back up to what you said. And everyone should have realized then when the opportunities for women were to be teachers, greatest gift in the world. I celebrate and love teachers so much. Teachers are leaders.
Yes.
And everyone should have said, oh, education is the foundation of everything that goes on now. And I'm covered in chills, generational thinking. And if you speak in, a generational thought process, it's the teaching and
Mhm.
it's the leadership. So I want to celebrate any and all teachers. And, little did they know that offer was saying a lot.
Mhm.
And as far as being was a secretary, but an assistant to someone, usually men, and that was one of my very first jobs. I've had many. I'm 110 years old, so I've had a lot of jobs. And that too, everyone should have realized behind anyone doing anything well, there is this incredible support, this person who is actually making them look maybe a lot better. I know that my team, shoot, I couldn't do one thing that I do without my team. Teamwork makes the dream work, as they say. And then moving past that and getting to, I love that you would say to your mom, well, we should, all these opportunities should be offered to us.
Mhm.
And, now we've come a long way, baby, as they say. And we really have. There's a lot further to go.
Yeah.
And you also worked in the political world.
Mhm.
And during the time when that was as wild as it is now, it was even crazier for women. Do you see that from your work and the work of so many other women and men that support women? Do you see that changing?
Yes, and just let me back up real quickly, because as you said, teachers are leaders. Secretaries or assistants are leaders, but
Yes,
they were never allowed to be in the foreground. They always had to shrink back.
that's
And
true.
yet they were doing the work, and they still are doing the work. And so what I really am passionate about is making sure that they also get the spotlight, no
Mm.
matter where they are in their leadership journey, no matter what they're doing, because it's everyday stuff that makes us leaders,
Oh,
not just the big titles or the big fancy office. It's being compassionate, it's being able to communicate well, it's being able to inspire people to do something together and
yes.
around a goal. So I want to make sure that the women are recognized for that. But to
Uh,
get to the part about working in politics, it was wild and hairy. I mean, I worked in politics for 17 years in Texas, which was very testosterone laced, and at the time. And I learned so much though about um, how to be strategic with my my skills and my knowledge and my wisdom. And I'll share one quick story, because in that I was forward facing in leadership with the Texas Medical Association, especially in women's healthcare and patients' rights. They had somebody come in and teach us about how to present ourselves, how to speak, how to do all these things. And the woman that was in charge of communications was super dynamic. And she pulled me aside one day and she goes, Cathy, do you really want to succeed at this? I said, well, yeah, I want to have an impact. I want to do something, because that's why I'm here. That's why I'm giving this all my energy. And she goes, well, you're scary. I went, what? She goes, yeah, not because of, you being mean or anything. It's just that the way men perceive women right now in where we are, You can be scary. You're very knowledgeable. You're very, articulate. You're not afraid to speak up, and that can be scary. And I was like, wow, never thought of it that way. So she wasn't telling me to not lead, but she was teaching me skills to
Mm,
strategically lead and
mm.
strategically present myself so that I could still have the impact. And one of the quick things that she taught me was I'm tall. And so I was taller than a lot of the legislators. And she goes, when you really want to make a point, sit down.
Wow.
And I went, it's that simple? She goes, yeah, it's that simple. Sit down and have a conversation that way. Even if you're standing face to face in a room, invite them to sit down with you because that kind of makes it more level. So I also learned, yes, I did that often, but when I really wanted to make a point and I was not getting my point across or it was not being received, I stood up.
I knew you were going to say that. Incredible. And you bring up that she was teaching strategic skills to
Yeah.
make an impact. And we need that.
Mhm.
I do think I think one of the things that sometimes we are tempted to do is be so pro women and so this needs to happen that because it's so important, we forget that we also need to be teachable. We still need to be coachable. And we
Mhm.
do need to allow it's okay to have information so that when we share, what we're sharing is heard. And I do
Yeah.
think that today, when I listen to people that have such good information and information we all need, it's a little bit, I love that she said it's a little bit scary. It's a little bit, oh my gosh, we're getting fussed at
Yes.
rather than invited into a conversation.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I
Exactly.
think that, do you see that when you've worked with so many women? Do you see that happening?
Yes, yes, I do. I mean, it's maybe not quite as in your face as it used to be,
Yeah.
but well, although in some spaces it is right now, especially for women. And
Mhm.
we're not going to get political, but how women have to navigate their external environment is something that relates to their adaptability because things change around them. They might know who they are. They might be very authentic in their values and knowing their values and strengths, which I think is super important because it should be the decision-making lens for everything they do.
Mhm.
But when the external environment is shifting around them, they also have to be able to adapt.
Mhm.
And so I do think that, and I do, when I work with women, we work a lot on um, just how to be authentic in what they're saying, but also how to be empathetic and use their emotional intelligence, how to
Mhm.
be active listeners. Most of the time, we're taught to listen to debate. I mean, schools have debate teams, right?
Right.
Don't have active listening training,
Me
where
neither.
you're actually listening to learn, to see what other perspectives are so that you can relate better to that person. It's all part of building relationships. And really leadership is about relationships. It's once again, it's about being able to communicate and commune with people in order to inspire them to share a goal or to step up and use their strengths to their capacity. So yes, I think that's so important that we have got to really focus on, listening to learn and being in communication with each other and not fussing at each other, as you said.
Yes. And I wish we had all day. However, I want to make sure that the audience knows that you work with women on all these levels and help get them into these leadership positions if they're not there yet, or to grow in the leadership position that they are in now. Let's
Mhm.
talk about, I know you've got a wonderful event coming up and you do things one on one with women. I mean, you're an author, you're a speaker, you do so many things. let the audience know, because I want to make sure they know to connect with you, kind of the process that you'll take them through.
Sure, sure. Yeah, one of the key process, or one of the key products or services, it's a service that I really provide, is it's an intensive leadership program. And it's 12 weeks, because I have found that women who are either aspiring to lead or want to get unstuck in where they are in their leadership journey, want to do it now.
Yeah.
They don't want to stretch it over a year, and they need results. And they need results. I mean,
Right.
they are looking at either a promotion or stepping into something new. And especially today, there's so many women that are transforming into and transitioning into other jobs or other areas of work, and or just want to have their voice heard and not be, that little quiet mouse in the room. And so in this program, we work for 12 weeks, and there's some group activities, because I think we also learn really well when we learn from each other in
Mhm.
community. But there's also a lot of one-on-one with me, coaching and work on the different aspects of leadership. We work on confidence building, because no matter where women are in their leadership journey, whether they're at the top or in the middle or just starting, most of us have times of self-doubt, and we turn that into self-trust, because we work on what are your values, what are your strengths. Once you recognize that, you can present yourself as who you are, not
Mm,
who others expect you to be. And then
mm,
we also work on like the strategic tools of how to communicate, how to go from muted to magnetic when you speak. So you really inspire people to action and have your voice heard and have an impact. And we also work on how to use all those energies and all your leadership skills strategically, because women burn out much faster than men. We give
mhm.
it our all. A lot of us tend to be kind of the caregivers, and we want to do it all. We want to help the world. We want to change everything. And but when you stay true, and as I said earlier, use your values and your strengths and what your mission really is as the decision-making lens, so you choose where to put your energy and
Mm.
where you want to have the impact, then we can avoid some of that burnout, because women burn out so fast in so many different areas of life. And we want it to be joyful. We want our leadership to bring us joy, not
Oh,
just to know, yes, we want to help the world, but we also want to have joy.
oh, it's unbelievable. I have a card that one of my precious sisters gave me, and it's a little girl having a cup of coffee, my favorite thing in the world. Have a cup of coffee, first coffee, and then the inside said, and now go save the world. Because that is, as women, that's what we do. We're so all in that we deplete. And I think that's wonderful that you assist in managing that energy, so that it's not just efficiency, it's very effective, and you have some left for the joy, right? I'll tell
And
you,
for
Cathy,
and for ourselves.
oh,
We need to have it for ourselves too.
oh,
And we're usually, I know in my life, I've so often stopped to evaluate, and I'm on the bottom of the list, and that's not how it should be.
oh, I just told one of my mentors the other day, I said, okay, we'll go through what I did. And she said, well, that's interesting. Every day that you were going to do this exercise, you scratched that off and you put it with something else in there.
Yep.
It's and we need to walk the talk. Again,
Mhm.
going back to that generational thinking, we cannot just say to these younger women or anyone, this is a great idea. If it's that great of an idea, we should be doing it.
Mhm.
And I love that. And it's anyway, it's just beautiful. When you and I met, one of the gifts of getting to meet you and learning more about you was to get to meet your beautiful daughter, Laura. And, it was very cool to see that interaction and have her share so many things she had learned from you. And you're an incredible example. Audience, I cannot encourage you enough to get in touch with Cathy, learn more about her. If this is not what she is offering, first of all, for sure, get her book. But if what she is offering right now in this program, if it's not for you, I can promise you there are many people that need the information. So share, share, share. Cathy, thank you.
Well,
I
thank
just, I look so forward to our next conversation, um, to hearing the results from those that are fortunate enough to be in your program. And is there any last inspirational thought you'd like to share with the audience before we sign off?
I guess what I really believe in is saying yes, but there's always a but, saying it when it aligns with you. There are
Mhm.
so many opportunities that have just popped up in my life that I hesitated and I thought about, but then I went back to what I said earlier. What are my values? What am I trying to achieve? What are my strengths? And when I used that lens to make a decision, some of those choices became much easier. Like, I am right now in the process of producing a TV show called Holt Talks the Lead, where I just interview women leaders to share their stories, to share what they've learned, to share what what they would share with others who are on wherever they are on their leadership journey and path. And when it first got presented to me, it was scary. I mean, it's very scary. I'm not a TV personality. I'm not, that was such a foreign world to me. But then I really looked at my values and my vision. And I joke that I want to create it's not a joke, it's real. I want to create a movement of women leaders to really change this world. And
Mhm.
when I used that lens, I thought to myself, wow, that's an incredible platform to give voice to women. It's not about me, it's having all these other women being able to share their story on such a major platform. And so that made my choice easier. So I think when you know yourself, you're with yourself 24/7, you might as well have a good relationship with yourself.
Right?
Then it's easier to decide when to say yes. But if something comes up and it's a stretch and it's scary and it takes courage, that's okay. Say yes, because it's in the doing that you get the confidence. When you rode a
Mhm.
bike, you didn't start contemplating, am I confident enough to do it? You got on the bike, somebody might have helped you, but you started riding and you went and did it. It's in the doing you gained your confidence. It took the courage to get on that bike. So I think that's a good analogy for life. I just think, knowing yourself, you'll know when to say yes, but it will take courage.
That is so beautiful, and I'm so excited about your television show. I'm excited about the network, Easy Way TV, the women's channel. Again, we met through Deb Drummond, and she has started this wonderful channel. Uh,
Mhm.
I'll tune in. And what's the name of your show again when they go looking for it?
It's called Holt Talks the Lead, and we're starting production about the end of October. So hopefully we'll have the first couple of shows before the holidays.
Here we go. Holt Talks the Lead. Way to go. Congratulations. Audience, again, thank you. Thank you, Father. And, always here in Texas. Hook 'em.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Carol. You are such an inspiration also with all you have done and all you continue to do. So I'm very honored to be sharing this space with you.
Oh my goodness. Thank you for that so very much.